point has been raised that with the transfer of the shareholding of the Industrial Development Bank of India from the Reserve Bank to the government, large industrial group would have easier access to institutional finance than before. In the second note of dissent by my honorable friends, a similar point has been made that the credit policies to be followed by the institutions have not been defined. The policy of financing industry, including a small scale industry, cooperatives, etc., and the large industrial groups, is determined by government. For implementing the policy of government, it is perhaps not very material whether the Industrial Development Bank of India is directly owned by governor or owned through the Reserve Bank. Parliament has therefore the opportunity to oversee the policy being followed by the government, bank, and the other institutions in financing industry in general and the larger industrial groups in particular. The honorable members have in their minute of dissent referred to the position that the employees' representatives will not be elected on the board but will be selected in a manner prescribed by government. They have referred to the practice prevailing in regard to the appointment of directors on the boards of the nationalized bank. I may inform the House that in the case of the nationalized banks, the scheme framed under the Banking Nationalization Act does not provide as such for a direct election by workmen of their representatives on the boards of the banks, and a representative is chosen out of a panel of three names suggested by the Federation, which on verification by the Central Labour Commissioner has the largest number of workmen as members. A more or less similar procedure will be drawn up in this case also for selection of the employees' representatives. I now take this opportunity of paying a tribute to the services rendered by the Reserve Bank of India in feeding the Industrial Development Bank of India from its infancy and having brought it up to its present status so that it could take up the leadership of the other financial institutions independently. As I have already stated earlier, the Industrial Development Bank of India will continue to be as much a concern of the Reserve Bank as of the government in the new setup as well. I have every hope that the Development Bank, as the principal financial institutions in the field of industrial finance, with its enlarged role, should be able to play an effective part in the balanced industrial development of the country in accordance with national priority and aspirations. This has been provided in the preamble by the Joint Committee constituted by the concerned ministry.